WS.
It's the Overnight Underground News. Here's today's top stories. Mumblin Joe wins again. COVID-19 infects nearly 250,000.
That is one big pile of shit.
China and Trump spin the blame game. Cuomo kisses and makes up with the Donald.
And he's hugging and kissing me.
Police ask criminals not to commit crimes. And in San Francisco, weed is an essential service. I'm John Ford, and this is the Overnight Underground News. It's not all doom and gloom coronavirus news out there in the great beyond, just past your quarantine four walls. There's also the doom and gloom of the election. Slow Joe Biden picked up primary wins in Arizona, Florida, and Illinois. Or as they used to call it in Vegas, before they shut the doors on the casinos, he's running the Democratic tables. Following his victory in a mumbling and meandering speech, Biden deftly targeted the existential threat that is a danger to us all, worldwide, with impending death, economic ruin, and making toilet paper our new currency.
To tackling the existential threat of our time, climate change.
Worldwide, coronavirus cases are approaching 250,000 infected. Just over 200,000 cases have been reported across the globe. More than half the cases are in China, but the virus is spreading faster than Tom Hanks' Vegemite, with the other couple of 100,000 well beyond the Chinese borders. Yesterday, one of President Trump's tweets caused quite a stir online when he referred to COVID-19 as the Chinese virus. This caused the Twitter outrage mob to be, well, outraged, with the perpetually offended calling Trump a racist. China didn't like it much either. They've now implied that the virus is in fact a U.S. bioweapon that was unleashed on the unsuspecting, bat-chewing, pangolin-munching Chinese. Trump had this to say about the issue in yesterday's press conference.
Well, China was putting out information which was false, that our military gave this to them. That was false. And rather than having an argument, I said, I have to call it where it came from. It did come from China. So I think it's a very accurate term. But no, I didn't appreciate the fact that China was saying that our military gave it to them. Our military did not give it to anybody.
Critics say using that phrase creates a stigma.
No, I don't think so. No, I think saying that our military gave it to them creates a stigma.
Meanwhile, China's finger-wagging and saber-rattling went beyond rhetoric yesterday as Taiwanese fighter jets intercepted Chinese military aircraft off Taiwan's southern coast. The Chinese said no worries, no need to panic. We're just looking for more exotic animals to slaughter in our wet markets. China, by the way, has also moved to show journalists the door and is set to expel journalists from the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal. The Chinese government said the journos will not be allowed to operate in Macau or Hong Kong, typically where journalists blocked by Beijing relocate to continue their work, uncensored by the People's Republic of Bat Snackers.
Folks just don't seem to have a taste for testicles no more.
More proof that it might just be the end of the world. New York State's king and governor had this to say yesterday during a press conference related to the federal response to coronavirus.
I spoke to the president this morning again. He is ready, willing, and able to help. I've been speaking with members of his staff. I said to the president, who is a New Yorker, who I've known for many, many years, I put my hand out in partnership. I want to work together 100%. I need your help. I want your help. And New Yorkers will do everything they can to be good partners with the federal government.
Come on, folks. We can't have this kind of level-headed and measured response at a time of crisis. I would personally appreciate it if just for pure entertainment value, if you could shift all your responses to include the word Nazi and make sure that all your critical posts and reports end with the phrase, Orange Man Bad. Thank you. In other pandemic news, the EU has sealed all of its external borders for 30 days. The U.S. has shut its borders with Canada for all but essential travel. New Yorkers may be asked to shelter in place in their spacious 150-foot apartments. According to some computer models, stealth COVID-19 cases, that is folks with the virus walking around with no or very few symptoms, account for 86% of those infected. The White House is considering cutting a check to Americans to help with the current economic crisis.
Will you marry me? Did he leave you any money? Answer the second question first.
He left me his entire fortune.
Is that so? Can't you see what I'm trying to tell you? I love you.
It's also estimated that unemployment in the U.S. could reach 20 8%.
Oh my God.
And the U.S. Treasury Secretary announced on Tuesday, taxpayers are getting a 90-day reprieve for paying federal taxes. Police departments across the country are asking criminals not to commit crimes during the coronavirus crisis. Police in Ohio, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Utah, and Washington have taken to social media to plead with criminals not to do what criminals do: crime. The good news is it looks like the crime rate will go down, not because of a decrease in crime, but due to police not arresting folks for committing crimes. Worldwide, jails are releasing those incarcerated, and prisoners have been arguing for release due to the dangers of coronavirus in jail. Meanwhile, police in Philly and other cities have announced that they will not be making arrests, or as they put it, they will be making, quote, delayed arrests for nonviolent crimes. I sure hope you're stocked up on ammo for Purge 2020 election year. And in the UK, criminal trials that will take longer than 3 days are to be put on hold due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Guilty.
With many states in the U.S. now with either legalized or decriminalized pot laws, you may not have to worry about getting busted for a joint. And in San Francisco, they've taken it a step further. Your local bar may be closed, but don't fret. You can still shop for weed at the local dispensary. San Francisco's shelter-in-place won't affect your favorite pot shop, according to the Examiner. The stores are deemed essential services for medical marijuana users.
Time to kick back, drink some beers, and smoke some weed.
Dude, if you do get some fierce munchies, may I suggest you try chowing down on some delicious toilet paper. A Vancouver woman is currently under nomination for the Dumbass of the Week award. According to the Irish Post, the intrepid woman named Miley thought she was doing the right thing by washing her hands with warm, soapy water. But it turns out that the soap she was using was just a piece of cheddar cheese she left out on the kitchen counter.
No crackers, Gromit. We've forgotten the crackers.
All she needs now are nicotine-stained fingers and hairy underarms to successfully complete her French conversion therapy.
N-E-W-S.
A mostly correct and occasionally incomplete transcript and links to reference sources and articles of this Overnight Underground can be found at overnightunderground.com.